to Our Place Out Loud. I am your lovely and captivating host, Louise Palanker, here with a panel of wise and wonderful teens. We have a few people that didn't show up, I believe the term for it is most of them. But we have hale and hearty Jake in the studio.
Oh, wait.
And we have Allie.
Hey.
And we have our conquering hero from Emerson University, Olivia. So we're going to need your phone calls tonight. We're going to need you taking part. A lot of kids had different reasons not to be here. Nico's on Broadway, I believe. He's performing the role of Gaston in Beauty and the Beast. Oh, yeah.
I played Maurice, crazy old Maurice, Belle's father.
Really?
So try to calm down.
Okay. I don't know if I can after that.
I know.
Super excited about it. Quimute's in Spain. Ryan is...
when did he get to Spain? And
Recently.
Colorado.
You got to follow him on Instagram.
Can I just say, Quimute is an excellent blogger. He's been taking some amazing photographs from all around the world. He's a traveler. And then Montana's in a play, or I don't know. Maybe she joined a cult. I'm not sure. And then Nina, what happened with Nina?
Recording?
Nina's busy being a recording artist, and then Aaron's in post-production. All right. But we're here and we're good. So you guys are lucky because we're your favorites. So Olivia has been in Boston at Emerson University, and I guess you guys got iced under.
Oh, yeah. It's been an awful winter. It's been freezing. Every day has been below zero. And we got accumulated of 10 feet of snow. So it's kind of problematic when you're 5'3".
Right, because you can't see over the snow.
No, I can't see anything.
No.
And the snowbanks, because they push it all to the side, and those just so they're like 20 feet high sometimes.
So what do college kids do when they're housebound?
You watch The Shining probably 9 times.
Nice.
That's
a great movie.
Yeah.
It's like watching airplane disaster movies in the middle of
flight. I mean, it was like the first night we got the weather advisory warning. They're like 6 feet by 2 a.m. And we're like, great. We all got inside. We watched The Shining. We were like, this is hilarious because it's what's happening outside now. and then the 5th day went by and we're like, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Oh,
wow. It's like dying.
So it's pretty much did you guys have a popcorn maker, or did you have Pop-Tarts, or what were you eating? What were you
I had a lot of soy milk and granola because that's all I kept around. And when we ran out of food, that was the only option. So a lot of soy milk, a lot of granola, cereal, Easy Mac, and just, falling asleep because you're hungry.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
This is so sad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to bring you back to life with
sun and the warmth.
Sun and warmth in California things. Yeah. So thank you for that report from the front lines of weather 2015, Olivia Lapidus. 20 Quick writes, so my guy best friend and I have just admitted that we both have strong feelings for each other. He said he's been having these feelings for 4 months now, but he only got out of a relationship 2 weeks ago. Whenever there's an exclamation point at the end of a sentence, I will say the last 3 words, really excited, and then on an uptick. Even worse, his ex-girlfriend is one of my close friends. I feel so bad, and he wants to see where it goes, but I don't want to do anything that I would have to hide or doing anything wrong. Sorry, I didn't get there in time. What should I do? All right, so it's an actual serious problem, as they really like each other. He kind of broke up with someone so that he could kind of get with her, but his ex is her best friend, and she's really erring on the side of caution here because she understands that this is the stuff that really kind of destroys relationships. And your thoughts?
I definitely think that it's best not to jump immediately into a relationship with him. I mean, first off, you don't even know if that's going to work. He just got out of a relationship. He needs to deal with that. And even if he does his feelings for you, like if he has feelings for you today, he'll probably have feelings for you tomorrow. So it's okay to wait and, start your relationship then once you've talked to your friend. Because you have to be honest. Because if you go behind her back, it's going to be 10 times worse than if you just say, I like him, and tell me how you feel about that. Because if it's off limits, then I'm going to respect you.
Jake?
Wait, hold on. Let's see if I can click on it. All right, I'm cool. So you stole my advice just at the last second. I was going to say, talk to your friend, but talk to your friend in like a few weeks up to a month maybe, because it's too soon no matter what right now, and perhaps in the future it won't be too soon for her. But again, you need her consent with this, because the fact that you said you don't want to do anything you want to hide means I know you're not going to screw this up, but just because you're aware of the sensitivity of this issue. But just remember that her being okay with it is very important.
Hey, Jake, does your camera tilt up a little bit more? Because when you lean in, it sort of cuts off the top of your forehead.
Yeah.
It's a rebuilding year. We just got GoPros, so we're going to be talking out loud about how to frame people better. We got GoPros and YouTube broadcasting, and we would like for you to subscribe to us on YouTube. We are youtube.com/ourplacecommunity, and subscribe. That way you'll know about all the shows and all. We're going to have more programming than just this show. We're going to have all kinds of really great programming, and we want you to be a part of it. So, yeah, I mean, he seems like, because he's known for 4 months that he would rather date you. So this is not news to him, but it's news to you. And he can only go as fast as you're comfortable going. And if you're putting your friendship with this girlfriend of yours as a priority, as you should, he's going to just have to, like, whoa, because this is, he may, when you're ready to break up with someone, you're like, well, I'm done with that person. But he needs to be the kind of person who's respecting that you're not done with that person. She's still going to be your really good friend. And if, like, say, 2 months from now, she's totally in love with someone else and totally dating someone else, then the timing would be right for you to go to her and say, hey, I kind of like Frankie, and then for her not to be so horrified. But, this guy needs to respect that it would really be disruptive for you to start suddenly dating your friend's ex-boyfriend, even though you like him. There's a cooling off period that must take place. Your thoughts, Allie?
This totally happened to me in high school. I fell in love with a guy that my best friend was kind of dating, and our relationship has never been the same. I mean, we don't really talk anymore. I mean, we remained friends after, but there was like this hidden like tension that you could feel. So 20 quick needs to keep this in mind. You have to decide like how important your relationship is with your friend, because it could change everything. Over a guy that might not even be worth it.
Yeah, go ahead, Liv.
Similarly, in high school, I had like this 3-person friend group where it was like me, my boyfriend, and my best friend. And all of a sudden I was like, wait, they're hanging out without me.
Oh my gosh.
And they were doing whatever they were doing behind my back. And then I found out and I lost my mind. And both of them as a friend because of it.
And it doesn't even matter if the friend gets over the dude,
Mm-hmm.
which in both of your cases, you maybe did and your friend maybe did. Like, that's not the underlying layer of pain. It's the what was wrong with me, or why wasn't I good enough layer of pain that you have kind of cemented into this person's mind that they won't forgive you for putting there.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense at all.
Yes.
It's
Yep.
like you don't get to do that to a person, because there's nothing wrong with her, and there isn't a reason he's choosing you over her. It just kind of happens.
Mm-hmm.
But she'll see it that way, and she'll relive everything she ever said to the two of you. She'll relive every moment that she was somewhere and you guys were somewhere else, and she'll like be doing all this math and trying to figure out at what point he's and there's just no reason for that, because there's nothing wrong with your friend. It's just that he's deciding that he clicks better with you. But as Kiyomute's name means, there's a time for everything, and this is not the time for you to be dating that guy.
I like that.
And if he doesn't respect that, then you don't need to ever be dating him. So just be careful. And I love the way you framed the question, because it already tells us that you are being careful.
Yes.
And so it's showing a lot of maturity on your level, on your part too. Anonymous writes, hey, Wheezy, I have a problem. I'm 15 and I don't remember to eat. I have to be told. I'm never hungry, and if I am, I eat very little, but feel full. I'm a little terrified because I don't like this or want this to happen. All right, so before I throw it to you guys, I just want to say I do get a lot of food-related questions, and I feel like if someone is saying things like, I don't remember to eat and I feel full quickly, to me that means that food is not the underlying problem. that there's body image problems that are causing the person to not be hungry and to be full quickly and to not remember to eat, because I don't think it's our natural state to not remember to eat. Jake?
What? What have I done? Oh, there it is. Okay. Is this shot better?
Oh, yeah, that shot's really good.
Cool. Okay, anyway, I actually always forget to eat. Like, it's not that, like, I don't want to eat. I enjoy the food when I eat it, but it's just that, like, for example, if my mom was just, like, out and I'm playing video games for, like, 7 hours straight, there's no way I'm stopping to, like, start eating breakfast or anything. I'm just going to eat when she shows up and reminds me, and I feel like I'll probably have to learn how to feed myself at some point, but until that point, I don't think it's a body image issue. It certainly could be a symptom of one if there is one, but it's not necessarily that at the root.
But would you be saying to me, I'm a little terrified because I don't like this or want this to happen? Or would you just not write this letter to me because you're comfortable eating whenever you eat? And forgetting to eat is just because you're busy and eating's not like high on your list of... You don't sit there and watch the Food Channel to figure out how to cook stuff because it's just not your thing.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be writing to me and saying, I'm worried. Like, I feel like the fact that she's writing means that she might have a little bit of a body image, and that I have to sometimes read beneath the lines and say, well, what is she really saying? Olivia?
Well, just like Jake, I definitely, there are days where I start at 8 a.m. and I don't get home until after work at like 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I could go the whole day and all I've had is a granola bar
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have time to space that out. And so I can see where she can come from and be like, I don't remember to eat. Like, because sometimes you are just that busy, but also it could be a symptom of something else. If you're on any kind of behavior medication like anxiety or ADD, any of those kind of pills, it extremely changes the way you're going to put food in your body.
Mm-hmm.
You can go days without feeling that, like, oh, tummy grumble, I'm hungry, because that's the way that pill works. So it's just like, my advice would be, if there's an underlying issue here and you are scared because you're forgetting to eat and you feel like you're not eating enough, go to your doctor. I mean, that's who's going to have the answers to this problem, whether it is emotional or something physically wrong, because there could be something physically wrong if you're feeling full, like, immediately, or if you're not getting hungry at all.
Well, I guess then I would want to say, be honest and answer this question. Is it because you do weigh yourself a lot and look in the mirror a lot and worry that you're not the weight that you would want to be? Because if we can rule that out, if you don't have that preoccupation with your weight and the way your body looks, then we can just address you're nervous because you feel like you shouldn't be getting full this quickly, so there might be something wrong with your metabolism. Well, then go to your doctor. But if you can answer my question and say, yeah, I do worry about being the right weight and the way my body looks and wanting a thigh gap and these are the questions that I get a ton of. So I'm always going to look at the question and go, this is really similar to the questions that I get from people that do legitimately have an eating disorder.
Right. And I would say go to the doctor for both. Both. If both of those answers are yes, either to the first one, like, yes, I'm concerned about my weight, or the second question, yes, I think that there's something wrong with my physical body, I say go to a doctor, speak to a professional. They can guide you in the way that's going to be the healthiest for you.
But answer all questions honestly.
Yes,
because
100%.
they've heard everything. You're not going to surprise them.
Oh, no. And, I mean, doctors, they've seen a lot of eating disorders. I promise. They've seen overeating disorders. They've seen undereating disorders. They see exercise anorexia. They see it all. They can look at your body and know. So don't even try to fool them, because they're going to know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that simple. But also, if there isn't a physical problem and you feel healthy in your body, just set a schedule for yourself. Like, say, I'm going to wake up at this time. I'll eat 15 minutes after I wake up. And this is when my lunch hour is. I'm going to eat then. And then when I get home from school, I'll eat like a half an hour after I get home. And just, like, set a schedule for yourself so you remember. And, like, put little reminders in your phone. Be like, oh, 15 minutes until I get to go have my snack, you know? So that, like, you're not forgetting to eat.
Allie?
I believe this is circumstantial. From personal experience, being stressed out and being anxious about something, I won't eat for 2 or 3 days. And a lot of people don't think that, like, stress can, you know, make them feel this way or, like, feel groggy or break out. But, like, stress can do a lot of things. So if there's something going on, this could be the result of that. And the more you stress yourself out, the more, like, you're going to, you know, make yourself have a nervous stomachache and not eat. So
Right.
I think that could have a lot to do with it, too.
So to me, it felt like she was reporting a symptom, that she wasn't reporting the actual problem. She was just reporting the result of the problem. That's why I kind of want to dig and find out if you're not hungry. Like when I'm nervous, like some people eat when they're nervous, and some people cannot eat when they're nervous.
Right.
So I can't eat when I'm nervous. I can't eat like when someone's going, oh, you have to eat because we're going, you know, it's like, let's just go. I have to be relaxed to eat, and I'd rather not eat than just try to, you know, shove food and then go. Because some people are just like, oh, all right. Like you see men eating over sinks and stuff like that. Like,
That's me.
yeah, like a lot of people have different ways that they'll be able to eat or take in some nutrition or whatever. But for me, it's like I have to be really calm and I have to have finished everything that I'm supposed to have done, and then I can relax and have something to eat. But I'd rather just not eat that day than have to eat on the run. And she's just reporting, I have a problem. I'm 15 and I don't remember to eat. And my first thought is, what else is going on? So if this is your problem and that's it, then that's fine. But if there's something else behind it, you're stressed, you're anxious, you have anxiety, you're worried about the way you look, you weighed yourself and you don't like how much you weigh, you feel like you shouldn't have gone from 101 to 102 even though you're supposed to because you're growing up. Those are the things that you have to be honest about, because you're not the first person to have felt this way, and once you state your truth, someone will be there to help you. It helps that you wrote to me, because we're asking you these tough questions. We're making you say, is that the root of your problem? You don't remember to eat, or could there be something underneath it that's causing you to forget to eat? Because like Jake has just never been like a big eater. That's just the way he is, and so his body has gotten used to, that's how much nutrition I'm getting, so let's just get on with it. Nothing more is coming in here. We're pretty used to it. So yeah, just be honest. And we are Our Place Out Loud. I am Louise Palanker here with a panel of teens, and we're addressing all of your concerns. This next question comes in from, I cannot pronounce his screen name, but it's got the words Anne and Guy and ENSJKA.
And Gwen Sijike?
Yeah.
There it is.
It may not have English as its native language, but it's an interesting screen name. We went out on a date today to watch a scary movie. I got scared and he held my hand. Then after the movie, we were still holding hands. While we walked home, then he kissed me. Are we together?
No.
Oh.
Wow, they were fast. All right, but what does she get to say? What does she get to inquire?
She gets to ask, like, hey.
It's too soon to ask, I think.
Up?
Really?
It's just this happened one time. He could be doing this with a lot of girls.
Really?
That's true. Oh.
Who is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's that guy.
Wow, he's the
Or
movie.
he's not.
He's the movie Mac Man. Let's go to the phones and see what our caller thinks. Hello, who's calling? Hello, who's calling? Hello, who's calling Our Place? Are you there?
Well,
Hi, who's this?
Oh my god.
it's me.
Oh, hey. It's just Justin doesn't know how to turn up the volume of the callers because,
No.
you know, Matt's really been here a lot lately, and today he's gone. And Justin's been really busy building the new studio, and Matt, what was even his excuse? Oh, it was his dad is ill, so Matt's gone. He's in Las Vegas. He's with his dad. So Justin just hadn't pulled up your mic pod or your phone pod or whatever it's called in Technoland. But how are you? Do you have an answer to this question?
I do forget to eat sometimes.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, it's because I'll be sitting at home watching a bunch of YouTube videos or something else, and I'll just forget to eat. And like Jake said, someone will have to come and tell me to eat or not.
Mm-hmm.
Also, being on antidepressants and ADHD medication,
Mm-hmm.
that does affect, although not too bad. thankfully.
Right. And we have a question later on in the show about ADHD medications, because I do think that they suppress appetite. So antidepressants, I think, definitely suppress appetite.
They do.
So, yeah, it may not be a concern, or it may be. Did you hear the most recent question that we asked about? She went to the movies with a boy. He held her hand. He walked her home, and she wants to know if they're now together. And 2 girls on the panel in unison said no. What do you think?
They're not.
What do you think? No, Jordan?
I say no.
You say no?
No.
And the girl shouldn't ask, are we together just yet?
Maybe continue going on a couple more dates and then.
Yeah. I mean, if he doesn't ask you to hang out, can she ask him to hang out?
Yeah.
And just say, hey,
They'll
we
play
hang out.
games, but,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but don't say, hey, are we a couple just yet?
Yeah.
Although, it's
That's gonna scare him.
promising. He doesn't see you as a buddy. He sees you as someone to kiss, so
Yeah.
there's that. But let it take its natural course and don't push anything, I would say. All right, so next week we're going to try to get you on a Skype call, okay, Jordan?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You have a wonderful evening, and we'll speak with you and
You
hopefully
too.
see you next week.
Okay.
Okay.
See ya.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So Skate Pat Man writes, I have nobody. I have no friends. My parents don't care. I try to talk, but I don't have much of a sense of humor, so people don't like talking to me. This is because of my ADHD pills. My ADHD pills have slowed down my mind, so I have to think about saying things to actually say something. My doctor says there's nothing he can do. What do I do? Does anyone know anything about what these meds do to
Yeah.
the personality? Okay, Liv.
I started on ADHD pills when I was 6, and I went off of them my senior year. So I was on them for a very long time. And I was on like Strattera, Concerta, Ritalin, Vyvanse, and at high doses, low doses. I had symptoms because of them, and so they put me on antidepressants because of my symptoms from my ADHD pills, and the antidepressants make me anxious, so they put me on anti-anxiety meds. And there was just a point where I was taking 8 pills a day, and I was like, this has to stop. So they changed, like, those pills weren't designed to be taken for long periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
They were designed to be like Xanax, like taken as needed.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't designed for children. So, like parents will bring their kids to a doctor and they'll be like, they can't focus. They write a prescription, and that's that. And it really can take a toll on your body, and it can take a toll on your mind, and you don't really know how your body's chemistry is going to react to the chemistry of the pill. So a lot can change in a very short amount of time. In a short amount of time as like a week. Seriously. And you can go from being like lively and, maybe you can't focus, but you can, but you can still like hone it in when you need to, and all of a sudden that's gone. And you kind of, it dulls you. If you wake up in the morning and the sun's shining bright, but it's like there's a veil over it.
Numbing.
Extremely. And so when your doctor says that there's nothing he can do, that's wrong. You can try. Don't just try this because I'm saying to try it. You have to do it with under the watch of a healthcare professional. So, you can bring up to your doctor maybe going on a lower dose, taking a different pill, because these should be enhancing your life, not muting it.
So later on in the conversation in this thread, he goes on to say that his dad feels that it's more important that he focus and get good grades, and that's more important than having friends. So this is his
That's
parents.
unhealthy.
Yeah.
That's unhealthy.
Jake?
I have a lot of friends. Oh my! I keep transitioning improperly. I'm getting used to this. I have a lot of friends who take ADHD medicine or ADD medicine, and you can definitely tell the difference in their personalities. And recently, I had a friend who, instead of going on like a pill every day that you take, it's it's like a you take it only when you're studying, and it only lasts like 1 to 3 hours, something
Yeah,
like that.
it has a shorter half-life.
Yeah.
than-
Adderall?
Yeah, it's Adderall. It comes in the lowest dose is 5, the highest dose is 50. So like you can take the 5 and like do a study session, but you have to. Your doctor has to tell you where to place that in the day, because if you take it at 5 p.m., the half-life might not be out of your system in time for you to go to sleep.
Why can't the kid just have coffee?
Yeah, I mean,
Because that's what adults use.
I mean, it sucks because when you're not 18, you don't have a say.
Right.
You don't. If your parents want you on something, you will be on that something.
So he doesn't seem to have a say, and he seems to say, somebody said, well, why, maybe you don't take the pills on the weekend and be yourself. And he said, well, I am myself over the weekend. That's how I know the difference. It's just that because of the way I am during the week, nobody wants to hang out with me on the weekend.
Right. And I understand that fully. I mean, I was on Concerta and it made me hyper aggressive to the point where like even my best friend was like, when you chill, you can come and talk to me. But like, and I was like, I don't know what's making me so unchill.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, and then I went to my doctor. I was like, everybody says I'm being rude and I'm being this and I'm being that. And I think it sucks. And she was just like, oh, wait, what are you on? And I was like, 250 milligrams. She goes, we're going to bring it down to 10. And I was like, okay. And I went down to 10 milligrams. On Monday morning, I was a different person than I was on Friday afternoon.
So this is something we really haven't addressed, but it feels as though this is impacting a ton of kids.
Uh-huh.
And I was wondering if the panel could help give this boy the language to say to his parents to get him back to the doctor and maybe try to manage his dosage so that he can, because I think his maturing socially is as important as his maturing academically.
Yes.
And that this should not be taken lightly. Allie?
He needs to do some major research on the computer about the cons of taking this type of medication below the age of 25, because your brain's not even fully
No,
developed.
it's not.
But I never tell my kids to medically research themselves because it's a rabbit hole.
Right.
And-
But
And they're kids.
they are. And I
Yes.
mean, definitely look up, to present the argument to your parents, the pros and cons of your own behavior on this medication. Be like, when I'm off of it,
Anecdotally,
I am
yeah.
this, and this. And when I'm on it, I feel this, and this.
Because I don't want him to read things that include suicide and
into his
what,
head.
and
Yeah.
get nervous because he's fine. He's going to be fine. Olivia's fine. It's just that right now we want to be able to have his words have an impact on his parents.
Yes.
Jake, you had something?
There we go. Just to talk about like the dangers of trying to self-diagnose online.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like studies showing that like people who read WebMD like descriptions are more likely to agree like that they have those symptoms after they've read it a lot. And
Yeah, that's me, actually.
Yeah, me too.
So,
That's why I try to stay away from it.
So I feel like that is kind of bad, but if you have a clear goal in mind and it's to get less medication, it's perfectly valid to go for like online research, because you know that these symptoms are things you do not want, and while some of them are insane, you're not gonna you don't
You're not
have
gonna
any
have
of
all the
those
symptoms,
Yeah.
yeah.
And also, you know, just kind of knowing like you don't have a disease, you just have to stop taking this pill and you'll stop having these
Yeah.
side effects. So,
Yeah.
Olivia?
You could also just not be properly diagnosed with ADD or ADHD. It's one of the things that's like almost always like misdiagnosed. I mean, you are a kid. Like, kids are putting, like, I was a camp counselor, and for 4 to 6 year olds, and I had to remember to give 4-year-olds their ADD pills. They don't have personalities yet. How do you know the difference between them being hyperactive and then just being themselves?
Being 4.
They
It's a
don't,
quick fix.
Yeah, it's a quick
This
fix.
kid suffers from being 4.
And like I have to,
And
like,
I find it annoying.
and it's insane. And it's insane because you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we talk about the dangers of like, you know, like smoking pot and like that on your developing brain. What about this?
Mhm.
These are straight chemicals
Mm-hmm.
on your developing brain as a literal child, as a toddler. So, I mean, bring it up to your parents. Say that, I mean, if you want to be on less medication and agree with them that you are going to apply yourself harder than you ever have in school, but also get the freedom to live in your own mind.
And so be a part of the solution. Say, here's what I'm going to bring to the table. Here's what I'm going to apply to the problem. I'm going to learn study habits and put myself under like a stricter sort of regimen. And I'm going to prove to you guys that I don't need this medication to do well in school, and I'm going to make everybody proud. But right now I feel like my mind is trapped, and that my true self is not having a chance to develop. My actual personality, you're stunting, and it's really bad for me. It's bad for my self-esteem, and it's bad for who I'm trying to become, the actual person that I'm meant to be here on Earth. Olivia.
Another suggestion is these pills are extremely expensive, and your parents might even end up saving money by getting you a tutor instead of putting you on ADD pills.
Athletics, things that kind of...
Extracurricular activities are great ways to channel that energy and then come home and study.
Mm-hmm. All right, really good. Thank you, panel, for weighing in there. That was helpful to me as well, because I want to know what I'm hearing from the kids and what I can say, from you, Olivia, having been on these meds for such a long period of time and imparting that to me. It's extremely helpful, because I think a lot of parents think, oh, here's a problem, let's take a pill. And pill isn't necessarily the answer to every problem in life. Mm-hmm. So Megan writes, my close guy friend, he never texts first. I don't know what it means. Today, I didn't text him for 5 hours, and he said, stop trying to get me to text first. Like, WTF. We're really close, and we joke around a lot. But still, I hate texting first. I always text first. He told me he wants to talk to me, but hates texting first. I don't know. Can someone give their input? Thanks.
Man up. Don't be a baby.
Yeah, make him man up. Just stop texting him, because if he's saying after 5 hours, stop playing games, stop trying to get me to text first.
He's playing.
Exactly. He's calling it out like that.
And why is it such a thing?
Oh my God, it's such a thing because they both want to feel wanted, and I think that it's ridiculous because they're playing this game. It's like, oh my God, who thought of who first? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh my God, I was on your mind, and then I just did it, and he wants that from her, and doesn't think that she deserves that back.
Man up. I would say go as many days as you need to go without texting him, and let's see if he can grow something. Because grow stronger about
I think
text.
You can just say, if you want to have a conversation with me, you gotta initiate it.
He needs to grow a pair of texts.
It's not, you know what I mean?
He needs to grow a pair of emoticons.
Yeah.
Emojis. He needs to grow a pair of those. Yeah, because it's just, you're caving every time because you want the conversation. And, we went centuries, and what's longer than a century? A millennial? We went millennials with lots of really lovely friendships that had nothing to do with texting.
Yeah.
And so this is a fairly new thing, and you can have a really strong friendship and not be so addicted to hearing from him that you finally cave and text him first because he's making you be the initiator. If he wants to have a relationship with a female in the future, he can't be this way.
Yeah,
You'd actually be helping him if you go as many days as you need to go without texting him.
Right.
And just say, it's not about who texts first. We're friends. We like each other. But it should be 50-50, just like who calls who first in the 1950s. I'm waiting for him to call. Go ahead, Jake. Sitting by the phone.
I believe in me. Let's do this. Woo, transition. Okay.
Yay.
Am I the only one who thought that this was just kind of playful and him trying to get her to keep playing this game? Like, it does. I know that you can.
It's a game. It's definitely a game, but it's annoying.
Yeah, but I feel like him saying that is exact evidence that he wants her to do something like this so that he'll have to cave in and start texting her first. I feel like this is just asking for more interaction between them by having even like a go-to conversation topic before they can start playing back and forth with this, and then they can talk about whatever they're actually going to talk about, right?
You should just text, "This is not a text."
Oh, so he did text first.
When?
Once.
I didn't text him for 5 hours, and he said, stop trying to get me to text first.
I felt like he said that, like, out loud with his mouth.
No, it was on a text. It
No,
was
that's a
via
text.
So I agree.
Oh, then keep it up.
Yeah, I thought that was playful and funny.
Oh, okay.
I see it now from a whole different, way.
All right. Yeah, just I mean, yeah, Jake could be right. Just continue
Yeah, maybe he just doesn't know how to open a conversation.
holding out. Go 6
like-
hours.
they're
Yeah,
like
but still, for
12.
future reference, like, know that this isn't how normal relationship should be.
No, it's not a contest.
Right.
This isn't a contest of who is weaker. That's just not. You was. You totally texted me. Yeah. All right. Anonymous writes, so there's this girl that laughs at my jokes a lot, and we make eye contact, but she almost instantly looks away. She looks at me a lot, but she won't respond to my texts. What do you think? I've just been really confused. Some sort of emoji that has tears. Teary face. So somebody in this thread wrote that she's maybe playing games. Really? Kids like this play games? Kids like 14-year-olds play games?
Is this could we gather from this anonymous, are they a boy or a girl?
I think it's a girl. This is a guy writing. Anonymous is a guy.
I mean,
Yeah.
Well, you never know.
I feel like it was when I put this in the show that I knew who Anonymous was, and it was a guy.
okay.
So there's this girl that she laughs at his jokes. They make a lot of eye contact. She looks at him a lot, but he texts her and she doesn't answer. Is he reading her all wrong?
I feel like that may be the case.
Yeah, that could be it. I mean, if she wanted to, she would.
Have you ever not texted back a guy that you liked who texted you?
No.
Unless I was overthinking, like, what I should say and was, like, scared what to say. No, actually, no.
Yeah.
No, it's...
I would still, like, be like, if they were like, hey, I'd be like, oh, hello.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that no matter how she acts in person, if you texted her and she hasn't texted back, stop texting her.
Yeah.
Like, if she's too young to know how to text a boy, then wait a year and try again. But at the moment, it doesn't feel like she's that into knowing you beyond.
And you could just be a funny person. Like, not everybody who's sitting there laughing at what you say has a crush on you.
And it depends on when she's looking at you. If you're talking and she's looking at you, then it's
That's
because
normal,
you're talking.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, she doesn't dislike you,
Yeah.
which is fine. So don't push it.
Right.
Like, don't push her away by
Don't
continuing.
overthink.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Maybe. I mean, the thing with guys is that they really do look different every year, and they because guys have a longer way to grow. Because like babies start out the same size, and then boys grow all the way up to men, and girls grow, so boys are always changing. Like at ages 12, 13, 14, it's like summer break. You come back like, wow, look at Hank. So she may like you a lot, but not romantically this year, and then next year your shoulders broaden. So it. I always say don't rule anything out down the road, and then Aaron gets mad at me, and he just feels like people are supposed to move on when it's time to move on. But I just feel like this stuff is really fluid when it comes to kids growing up together. Jake?
Also, don't think that your lack of broad shoulders is what's keeping her from liking you.
No, I'm basing all logic on the movie Lucas, and I probably shouldn't.
I mean, she maybe just doesn't like you like that, and that's okay, and she's allowed to feel that, and I mean, stop bothering her, like maybe she's not texting you because she wants you to stop texting her.
Yeah, so it's okay to just continue knowing her at school, and unless or until she reaches out to you, assume that she sees you as just a friend.
Yeah.
Put your energy into something else.
Yeah.
Or someone else is
Something
going
or
to
someone else.
respond to you.
Yep. All right, Starstruck writes, okay, so I have quite a bit of family problems at home, and quite often I will have some friends that will want to come over or something like that, and I always end up giving them some kind of excuse because not only is it sad to see my family like this, but it's also kind of embarrassing. So what I'm wondering is, what should I do? When my friends ask to come over, what do I tell them? I can't keep giving them excuses because someday they are going to notice that something is up. Also, yes, they are very close, but I really don't feel comfortable telling them all about it yet. Sideways, frowny face. So this is actually more common than you realize. Kids that have the house that they don't feel comfortable having anyone come into is pretty common. And it could be mom's a hoarder, dad's an alcoholic. We don't have a very big house. I mean, it could be like a million different reasons, but there's lots of kids that don't feel comfortable inviting anyone over. And if you're not comfortable telling them, the whole truth, somebody in this thread made a good suggestion, and just say, my parents aren't comfortable having friends over, and they're just weird that way. I'm so sorry. And
I
just,
feel like I said that.
oh, that was you, Allie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Allie, you did address this question. So go ahead and say what you said in the app.
I barely remember, but I do remember saying, you can blame your parents for something like this.
You
Say,
did say
sorry, like, you can't come over. It's just my parents' rules. Because I went through this all growing up. I hated having people over. I just didn't like entertaining people, and I didn't like people touching my stuff. I was really OCD like that. So I always said, oh, my mom won't let me. Sorry. It's just a rule. Like, they won't keep asking,
They really won't. They really
They
won't.
won't, and then you'll get into patterns of where you go and what you do and how you do it, and they'll just get like, oh, we don't go to that house, and they'll stop coming up. And maybe when you get a little bit older, if there's one specific friend and you just want to feel like, you just want to say like, my parents are always arguing and da da da, and that's like the whole reason why I never wanted you to come over, because I was like embarrassed. Like, actually, people feel honored when you confide something like that in them, because it's no reflection on you. It's just, wow, I'm so sad you were going through that all alone, and thank you for telling me. That makes me feel really close to you. And so, one day, but don't force yourself to say it before you feel ready to say it, and just know that, you're not alone. I had a question last week from a kid whose mother is a hoarder, and she doesn't want anyone to ever come over, and hoarders kind of live in silence. They just... And the kids of hoarders are they're really victims, because they never asked for any of this.
Yeah,
and
no.
There'd be no way they could ever have anyone come over, because it'd be all over school that, oh, this house is
also, it's super unsafe.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. It is.
Because, oh my God, I got really sick. Like, I got the flu, and so I watched all of Hoarders on Netflix. So
Hoarders is on Netflix?
That's dangerous to know.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I shut myself in a room for a week, and I was like, am I a hoarder? But I'm not. I just like keeping magazines 2 months after I get them. But no, so you get in these patterns in the house of where you can move because of the stuff. But if someone comes into the house and doesn't know that, it happens all the time. Once the therapist comes in the house, the therapist steps somewhere, a pile of stuff falls on them, and they're like, see, it was dangerous. Then the hoarder's like, yeah, but I know where to walk, so it's not a problem. And then by the time they're like, it is a problem, then they're like, oh my God, I hurt you because of my things. So also, you can't just have a kid running through there who doesn't know what to do.
Also, I think the air is really unhealthy.
Yeah, it's super bad for you.
And if so, if
you don't know what's living in there.
No. Or who.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. You could have more kids than you realize.
Yeah, seriously.
Just
There was an episode.
underneath something.
No, there was an episode where, the family pet died, and no one realized for 2 years.
Oh,
Wow.
they didn't know where it went?
Do they
Yeah,
know where
just-
grandma is?
No, so as they were cleaning out the house, they were like, "You said your dog ran away." Yeah, no, dog was in the house the whole time.
Whoa!
Oh my gosh, I'm going to throw up.
Full frontal gasp.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Hoarders need to get help, yo.
Yeah, so, and there's some stuff online about hoarders and what causes it, and usually has something to do
Extreme
with
loss.
Yeah, so that your things are your blanket, and you don't see them as clutter. You just see them as what's protecting you from the world. So the kids of hoarders, if they understand that, oh, my mom isn't crazy, she just has this disorder, and it's because of trauma in her past that she's not willing to share with me, because I'm the kid, and she's ironically trying to keep me safe, but by not telling me. Like, I had a kid write to me whose mother grew up during the Vietnam War, and she's a hoarder. So I said, you have no idea what she's been through, and she may not want to tell you because it's too horrific, but these things are literally what she feels are her lifeline, and so she needs to get professional help.
But I mean, as if you're a kid of a hoarder, it might be really scary, but go to a guidance counselor at your school, because you're not safe. And I think that's hard to say, like, oh, you're not safe in your own home, but you're not, because if there's too much stuff, and there's, because of that, there are dangers. So, like, go to a guidance counselor, because they can point you or your parent in the right direction here.
And handle it discreetly. It's not going to
Yeah.
get all over school.
No,
This
it
is-
won't. It won't, because they actually cannot say anything.
And I'd say the same thing for the kid who asked this question about, how, I don't want friends over because there's weird stuff going on with my parents. Like, you can still go to a guidance counselor or call a helpline and explain what's going on with your parents. Because whatever's going on, if you don't want a friend to see it, it's not good for you either.
Yeah,
You've just gotten used to it,
exactly.
but it's not good.
I mean, it's really bad for you, and it's toxic to you, and it's clearly seeped into your relationships and your friendships because you're embarrassed of it. So now it's affecting the way you're growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need to remember, and you need someone there telling you constantly that it's not your fault.
No, it's not your fault.
It's not your fault, and your parents aren't going to say that. They really aren't.
And that it's not a normal lifestyle. So
No.
some kids maybe don't realize that.
Yeah, no, it's not normal at all.
It's their normal, but it's not normal.
Right.
We are Our Place Out Loud. Please give us a call at 888-531-7171. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to this channel. We are youtube.com/ourplacecommunity. We want you to be a part of our community. So subscribe and have fun solving the world's problems with us. This one comes from Night K. Gender question time. I am aware that gender can be fluid, but for the longest time I've identified with masculine, presenting androgynous people. I've identified with masculine, presenting, and I think there was probably supposed to be some punctuation here, but I'll try and figure out where it was supposed to be. I've identified with masculine, presenting, and androgynous people, despite being AFAB. Who knows what that is?
Assigned
not.
female at birth.
Oh, really good,
You
Jake.
were female like your whole life.
Mm-hmm. Despite being assigned female at birth, is there any surefire way to clear up all doubt and be certain of your gender? I've been very, very confused, and I've been going back and forth, but I do know that I can no longer wear most things in my closet, and that I am getting antsy, very anxious whenever my name, Katie, or any variation of Katie, is said. How do you know? What should I be considering? What are the trials of being trans and of changing social presentation? So, for example, even if he were not to have gender reassignment surgery, just to start changing the way she wishes to
You
dress
can just
or
say
present.
they.
Yeah, they.
They is
But they is
pretty-
plural. Can we come up with a word?
No, they
it
is
can,
neutral.
It can be anything, really,
All right.
at this point in grammar. They
All
just
right,
kinda
so-
make it everything.
Who knows more about what's at stake if she just says, yeah, I don't like being called Katie. I don't like any of the clothes in my closet. And I may or may not want surgery, but I'd like to start going out into the world as male. What should she be thinking about? Go ahead, Olivia.
I mean, this is such a personal thing. And yes, gender can 100% be fluid. And if you don't feel like a girl, then you're not a girl. And that's for you to have a really honest conversation with yourself and, come up with an answer to. But, I mean, it's never going to be easy. Even if your parents are like super accepting, and they're like, yeah, you don't want to be Katie anymore? Awesome. Pick a name. We'll call you that, and like, it's still going to be hard. So this is going to be hard. And I don't really know. I don't know enough, but I mean, one of my really good friends at school is trans, and she was male at birth and has gone through life as a girl. And to me, she's a girl.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people in her life that will never see her that way because they know that she wasn't born a girl, and they'll call her by her birth name, and they'll say he, and it's abusive and it's awful. So some people can be awful.
I don't think they this is changing the subject a little bit, but I don't think they feel like they're being awful. I think their thinking is kind of old school, and they don't know how to go about it any differently. I've now, just because I've been working with kids for so long, I've come to the place where I will accept anything you tell me you are.
Yeah.
But 20 years ago, I was not in that place. I was like, whoa, gender reassignment, wow. everyone must be freaking out. You know, it was a big deal. It's no longer a big deal to me because I see it all around me all the time. But it was. When we were kids, there was a tennis player named Dr. Renee Richards, and she was a guy who became a girl. And then she was competing. You can Google her. She was competing in the female tennis arena. And people were like, yeah, but it's not fair because she's got an Adam's apple and she's used to be a dude. So she has hormones that are like giving her a disadvantage. And I remember watching that as a kid and going, oh my gosh, you can go from being a guy to being a girl. Like, it was shocking, but had no idea how common it was. Yeah. Now that I see that, oh wow, there's all kinds of people that don't feel exactly like they're supposed to be exactly male or exactly female, or there's something in between or something, whatever they decide. Now I'm just like, whatever. You tell me to call you she, I'll call you she. But but her parents, or your friend's parents, they're not answering questions from kids all day. So they're not where I am. They're probably my age, but they're not where I am in terms of broadening my perspective as to this is really actually pretty commonplace. Yeah. It's not that unusual. What were you going to say, Jake?
I was going to offer some advice involving, you said you don't identify as feminine or as a woman, but that leaves like being a woman is like all on one side of the spectrum, and now you have a whole rest of the spectrum to try and figure out where you are.
That's true.
That's a whole wide range to try and figure out. My advice would be pick a name that would apply to anyone in the middle or to the right, or whichever direction is masculine. I don't know, because if you pick an ambiguous name and settle on that and make sure that like when you're going to college you have people know that name and all your family and stuff know that name, it'd be much easier to be like, because like there are names that can work for anyone anywhere, and it'll probably be far easier if you adjust to one of those. Or even your wardrobe, there's like everyone can wear a pair of jeans. Just buy jeans and a t-shirt. Like everyone can do that.
Fall into the gap.
Yeah, I dress like a boy all the time.
Yeah, me too.
So pick a name like Kat. Or what's
she's calling herself K, like
K?
Night K. Like K is really just an initial, so she can go by K, and that's pretty gender neutral.
I mean, and also Jake brought something up that made me think: just because you're not a girl doesn't mean you're a guy either.
Right.
I mean, there's so many things like it doesn't need to fit into a box, and it doesn't have to be neat. And I mean, I promise you that there are going to be people out there who love you, who are going to want to know where you are, and it doesn't need to be like, I am this and I'm checked that box off, and like you can be whatever you need to be.
Yeah, and I feel like the letter kind of indicates like, I do not like being called Katie. I do not like any of these female clothes in my closet. So all right, check. You're either an extreme tomboy, and which means no more dresses, no more skirts, forget it, because that means you don't ever have to wear that again. If you don't want to. No. I don't care how many weddings you go to. You don't have to wear that. Even if you're a bridesmaid, you can say, I'm not wearing that. So we used to go along with so much stuff that we thought was expected of us being born a female. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, that's another point that I never realized is, oh crap, what have I done? There we go. If you're going from KD to K, that you can just play that off as like, oh, I hate my name, I'm using this name. Mm-hmm. It doesn't. You don't have to like.
You don't even have to
out yourself to everyone.
Yet.
Yeah.
No.
You can just kind of say like, I hate my name, so we're calling me K now. K guys.
Hey.
Yeah. And the earlier you start, especially when you go off to college, no one's going to just say, hey, that's not really your name.
Yeah. No, I mean, people they believe what you want. Yeah, they believe what they're going to trust you. You're like, I could go up to people and say, hi, my name is Jeffrey. And I mean, they would be like, that's strange. I'd be like, yeah, it is strange. They're like, okay, hi, Jeffrey.
What do you want to do?
Yeah, like, I mean, they're gonna believe you. And, I mean, it's just their gender is, I don't know.
It's just one part of your personality.
Yeah.
It's really not that much of it. And I just think that the internet has brought everybody so much closer together in terms of saying, hey, I'm like this too. Oh my gosh, I never liked wearing dresses, or I never wanted to be female. I'd rather just be something somewhere along the spectrum and not have to be some sort of girly girl that my mom wanted. That's not me. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, we're approaching a weird point right now where there's so many different boxes being created that we either have to make an infinite number of boxes for each person, or abolish the box system entirely.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's pressing up a lot of different like social standards that we have. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out for my generation and stuff.
Yeah.
And what was interesting last week, Olivia, was that we had a kid who was identifying as lesbian, but she was liking this girl who was telling her that she was starting to identify as like gender fluid. So the girl that was writing the letter was like, well, if I continue liking her, I have to change my box.
No.
Oh my goodness.
And so it can get really complicated.
No, it definitely can. And I mean, okay, so side note, my best friend's boyfriend from high school recently was like, I'm not a guy. And we were all just like, what? But he's like, I still want to be called he until I figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
And I still want my name to be my name for a little bit longer while I make this transition to something else. And then my friend calls me up and she goes, wait, am I gay? Does that make me gay? And I was like, no, it doesn't. You liked a guy. And
Yeah.
but inside he didn't feel that way.
Right. And
She likes sensitive guys, probably.
Yeah. Real. No.
yeah,
that's
but I
real.
mean, and I can understand the question too, because it just if you dated the person and then the person is completely identifying as something that you're not generally attracted to, you can say, does that make me? Am I gay? Am I straight? Am I a guy? Am I a girl?
Yeah.
And really, it romantic love doesn't have to fit into a box either. It can just be, well, I like this person. I'm usually attracted to this gender, but in this case, I like this person because of who they are. But that doesn't make me trisexual. Or I know there's there's lots of categories now, and so that's probably one. So I hopefully I used it correctly. But it doesn't have to change how you identify based on that you liked a person who's identifying differently than at the beginning of your relationship. Yeah. It's just we're all kind of on this journey together where we're rapidly moving towards more and more and more acceptance. And as Jake said, things are changing exponentially. And so if you notice a pattern where, hey, I like this pan guy and I like this pan girl and I like this pan guy and I like this, maybe I'm pan and I can like pretty much everybody. It just depends on the person.
But you know what? What he said is like the more boxes thing is like when it starts getting into weird things like, oh, I like my dog or like I like little kids.
But that's illegal.
Yeah.
Because you're harming a dog.
Well, it was illegal to be gay, wasn't it? Or
but
gay
that's
marriage.
consensual between two human adults.
Yeah.
So just as long as it's consensual.
I think it needs to be
Yeah, it needs to be
consensual.
consensual.
And between humans. I don't think that you're allowed to do anything to an animal.
It'll be interesting when we meet aliens, though.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see they found life on
and robots.
They found a planet that's
a
like
good
Earth.
point.
Did you see
What?
that, Jake? They found.
We kind of do that every
Yeah,
week.
we do that all the time.
Like,
We're constantly finding planets that are like Earth. I mean, there's definitely other life somewhere, but we got to see how that mixes with us. But also, I mean, we were in a class. I was in a class recently, and they were talking about it's an ethics class, and it's like, okay, what happens when robots get smart enough to feel? Like, what happens when we do that? Because we're gone the way to do that.
Scary.
It's like, what do you do then? Like, can you just unplug them? Is that inhumane? Because they can feel? Do you just unplug them? Is that okay?
We can really.
We're that close to that being a thing.
Jake, can we scientifically imprint feelings into robots?
oh, they're gonna overtake us feelings-wise eventually.
Yeah.
How?
Oh, I don't like
What,
that.
the second they're as smart as we are, within seconds they're smarter because
Yeah.
they can self-improve.
There's a movie out.
But
Yeah,
they won't
Chappie.
Chappie, everyone go see Chappie. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure it's good just because I like the concept.
No, but I mean,
But will
but
they
we're at the
really-
point where we're having an actual discussion in a college class where we had to read stuff about it to prep. Like, it's being talked about already. We're that close to it. So we have to start accepting everything because everything is possible.
Well,
now.
I think that if robots have feelings, we just continuously hurt their feelings until we win. Go ahead, Jake.
I saw some video that was arguing, like, what happens when you're walking across the street and you see someone get hit by a car, and you run over and you're terrified, and you're like, oh my god, are you okay? And then you realize that they're a robot. Are you now not worried about that person? Because if they look exactly like a human being, and they operate like a human being, and you were so worried about them because they looked exactly like a human being, do you stop being worried? Or because they're so similar, do you realize that humans and, like, robots have to kind of be the same thing?
yeah.
At what point
Either
does that
way,
happen?
it's probably a really expensive robot. And it's gonna put a lot of thought into it, so save it. All right, that is our show for today. I want to thank Olivia, Allie, and Jake for being with us. I'm Louise Palinka. We are Our Place Out Loud. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
I've been out there wandering, I've been in here wondering, hoping, reaching, wishing I could find my way. Then I found our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. I may look a little hazy and I may feel a little crazy. I'm sifting through confusion and I'm searching for solutions, and I know I'm answer bound, 'cause I found our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. Hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters, you'll
Yes,
learn what
I'm in the
really
credits.
matters now. Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. Hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters, you'll learn what really matters now. Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. Hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters, you'll